It has taken more than 2 years, investigations around the world, and the uncovering of money trails from the Seychelles to Switzerland. Now Australia's biggest bribery investigation has laid its first criminal charges. Those in the gun, no less than 2 companies owned and overseen by the pillar of the nation's financial system, the Reserve Bank of Australia. These men once called the shots at banknote companies owned by the Reserve Bank of Australia. Men including former CEOs Miles Curtis and John Leckenby are now facing criminal charges that, if proven, could see them spend up to 10 years in jail. They're accused of complicity in a massive international bribery scheme.
The charges relate to alleged bribes paid to public officials in Indonesia, Malaysia and Vietnam between 1999 and 2005 in order to secure banknote contracts. These charges are significant. It is Australia's first prosecution under foreign bribery legislation.
The Reserve Bank firms involved in the bribery scandal are Securency, which supplies the plastic material used to make polymer currency, and Note Printing Australia, which prints the plastic money. The companies are respectively half and fully owned by the Reserve Bank, and they sell their special notes to central banks and governments across the globe. The RBA is also responsible for appointing the directors, including senior, former and serving RBA officials, meant to oversee the company's conduct.
The charges against the companies are a result of former senior managers who, it will be alleged, at that time represented the mind and will of each of those companies. Also, it will be alleged that money paid in bribes originated from the companies and therefore the companies retained a benefit.
According to the criminal charges, the Reserve Bank firms allegedly bribed high-ranking officials in Vietnam, Indonesia and Malaysia between 1999 and 2005. Millions of dollars in kickbacks were allegedly paid, mostly through shady middlemen, including a Malaysian arms dealer. When former Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister turned opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim was asked about the scandal last year, he said he was shocked that it involved a company owned by the Reserve Bank of Australia.
How could the Securency allow a private agent working under these dubious circumstances? It's something very difficult for me to comprehend. How is it a system with such a strong institution and respect for good governance, transparent manner, with clear, very rigid financial procedures, could allow this?
The scandal has also taken a heavy toll on Australia's international reputation. The leader of the Greens, Bob Brown, says federal parliament should investigate the affair.
Well, I think that inevitably there will be a parliamentary inquiry. As with Children Overboard and the Australian Wheat Board and a number of other issues that have appeared to involve cover-up, you ultimately end up with the inquiry, even if Parliament, the big parties in Parliament, resisted.
The charges open up a fresh chapter in Australia's biggest corporate corruption scandal. More criminal charges are expected, and there are more bribes the AFP and its policing partners are hoping to uncover.
There's a flow-on effect. It affects businesses, it affects opportunities for other businesses. We've got to be fair and equitable and transparent in the conduct. Australia is a signatory to conventions against foreign bribery, and we, as a nation, we're responsible for actually enforcing that.
There also remain many unanswered questions. How could this scandal have occurred under the watch of the Reserve Bank? And what of the role of Australian trade officials, who helped to introduce the RBA firms to many of the allegedly corrupt middlemen? They're questions that the federal government is under increasing pressure to have answered.